The Tea Party put them there, now vowing to make sure they don't stay there if the budget deal is a bad deal. To freshman Republican Congressman Steve Womack on the Tea Party ready to take his party to task. Are you ready for that, Congressman?
Well, you know, I think we're ready to do what we've been doing since over 44 days ago, Neil, and that is to lead something that there's been somewhat of a deficit of here in Washington. So I believe our conference is ready to lead, particularly when it comes to the budget of 2012, which will be released tomorrow.
But what about the budget that isn't a budget of 2011 that's almost wrapped up? What about that?
Well, that's part of the problem, Neil, is that, you know, I was a mayor for 12 years in Northwest Arkansas, and I've never seen a circumstance where a chief executive would be dealing with budget matters well into the third quarter of the given fiscal year, but that's precisely where we find ourselves today. And I think it's time that we get off of the billions of dollars and start turning our attention to the trillions of dollars that truly plague our country.
All right, which is what I guess the 2012 budget battle will be about. By that, do you mean, sir, quit this obsessing over this other budget, the one that's phasing out for a year that never had a budget? What?
Well, Neil, I think it's important that we get 2011 behind us. And look, I'm not prepared to tell you what the number is. I know everybody in Washington wants to know what's the number. Look, what we would like to see is something from the Senate. That would give us at least a basis on which we could concentrate our discussions and our negotiations. I have absolute confidence in Speaker Boehner that he's going to do the right thing, that our conference will support the Speaker, and that we'll be able to get 2011 behind us so we can turn our attention to the bigger issues.
Are you guys getting nervous because these Tea Parties are holding your feet to the fire? A lot of the conservative members, I think 56 of them in general, voted against the last extension that brought us to now this April 8th period. I'm sure the numbers would be greater still if that even came up again. So do you feel like you're in a box? Not necessarily.
I can't speak for the four members that voted against the 3-week CR from our conference. I can tell you this, that the dynamics have changed a little bit, Neil, because we do have a budget coming out tomorrow for 2012, and it's going to raise the bar significantly on what our leadership is prepared to do.
Yeah, but you hear what the Tea Party is saying, sir, and it might very well raise the bar, and I was trying to raise that with the Tea Party earlier. It might, in fact, to everything you said, but her view was, this Tea Party view was, if you can't you know, gather the strength to force billions in cuts, how the heck are you going to force trillions in cuts?
Well, that's a good question, and a question that one member of Congress cannot answer by himself, particularly a new member of Congress. I can just tell you that the 87 or so freshmen that came to Washington, and I'm one of those, when we got here, we came with a sense of dispatch and urgency, and we're prepared to confront the challenges, the real challenges that face our country. I think at the end of the day, that's what Americans want. And this is not a Tea Party issue or a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an American issue, and it's not going to be solved unless we can get all parties working off the same page.
Well, good luck there. But as a new guy in, and someone who came in with great intentions, great goals, and Jimmy Stewart optimism that you could conquer this beast that was Washington, I've asked a lot of your colleagues in a similar position, sir. Are you disappointed? Did the reality hit hard? Is it just like, oh man, the lifting here is far heavier, far more of a drag than I thought?
Oh, there's some disappointment that we're not getting any action out of the Senate. But the operative word here, Neil, I think is more about frustration, particularly when you're like me and you've come from the executive branch of government from a very, very solid fiscal community, and to see the pace at which things get done here. Frustration is probably the more operative word.
Does it make you curse?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that.
Okay. Sir, always a pleasure. Thank you very, very much.
Neil,
hopefully this all works out.
My honor.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir.
Well, you know, the budget wrangling continuing into the night. The House